The night sky looked ordinary at first. Stars shined as they always had, distant and silent. But then, strange lights appeared. At first, people thought they were meteors, just another shower burning through the atmosphere. Children pointed. Couples on rooftops whispered in awe. But these lights did not vanish. They grew brighter, sharper, and then slowed. Satellite around Earth captured the first images, massive objects moving in perfect formation. They weren't rocks. They weren't natural. They were ships. Governments rushed to keep it quiet. News channels were told to call them space debris. Yet, people weren't blind. Every night, more glowing trails crossed the sky. Too many to hide. Videos leaked online. Giant shadows in low orbit. Shapes with unnatural symmetry. Some looked like blades, others like floating towers. At first, silence. The ships only hovered. No messages, no attacks. Just watching. It was worse than open war. The unknown is always heavier than fire. Panic spread in whispers. Shops emptied. Roads filled with cars. In villages and cities alike, people stood outside, necks craned, waiting. Everyone knew this was not Earth technology. Someone had arrived. Then the message came. It was not in one language. It was in every language at once, broadcast into minds, screens, radios, even the hum of power lines. A deep, cold voice echoed. Surrender, or be erased. The words carried no emotion, no plea, no anger, only a simple fact. Leaders gathered in secret halls. Some said peace was the only chance. Others whispered of resistance. But how could Earth resist? Humanity had only just reached the Moon and Mars. These ships traveled the stars. The United Nations chamber was tense. A Russian general slammed his fist on the table. They want fear. That's their weapon. We cannot bow. An American scientist shook her head. You don't understand. Their ships are kilometers wide. They could burn our cities in seconds. If we resist blindly, it will be over before it begins. The room fell silent. No one knew what to do. But beyond the chamber, far from politics, others were already working. In hidden bases and underground labs, a group of scientists, engineers, and soldiers studied the signals, scanning every fragment of alien presence. They believed something critical. No species was perfect. Every empire had cracks. If humans could find even one weakness, they could fight back. Meanwhile, the ships began their first display of power. Above the Atlantic, one ship descended. Its hull glowed with pale light, stretching longer than the tallest skyscrapers. Millions watched live as a beam shot downward. It touched the ocean, and the sea boiled. Entire swathes of water turned to steam in seconds. The sound reached cities far inland. People screamed, prayed, cursed. The message came again, louder, surrender, or be erased. For the first time in history, Earth felt united by fear. Borders didn't matter. Languages didn't matter. Humanity stood as one fragile world beneath the shadow of giants. But fear has two faces. For some, it breaks the will. For others, it sparks defiance. In a quiet mountain facility, a scientist named Dr. Laura Vance studied the captured transmissions. Hours turned into days. Then she froze. There was something wrong. The aliens were not sending new signals each time. They were repeating, looping. Their threats were not endless. They were pre-recorded. Her voice shook when she told the others. They want us to think they are everywhere, watching every moment. But they are not. Their system is automated. They aren't as invincible as they want us to believe. The soldiers in the room exchanged looks. A crack. A small one, but real. And then came another surprise. In South America, radar stations picked up something unusual. One alien drone had fallen too low into the atmosphere. Damaged, it crashed deep into the rainforest. By the time aliens tried to recover it, locals had already reported the fireball. A secret team was sent. They reached it first. The drone was unlike anything on Earth. Sharp edges, glowing veins of light, but scarred and cracked. For the first time, humanity touched alien technology with bare hands. It was rushed into a sealed lab, hidden under tons of rock. The world didn't know. Governments didn't announce it. But inside that lab, The fight for Earth's survival had just begun. The people above still looked to the skies, waiting for doom. Families held each other. Soldiers stood guard on empty streets. The alien ships hovered, silent, patient, like predators circling prey. But beneath the surface, a different kind of battle was starting. Not with weapons, not yet, but with minds. Humanity had always survived not by strength, but by cleverness. Fire against beasts, steel against empires, code against chaos. And now, once more, they would rely on their oldest weapon, ingenuity. The aliens thought fear was enough to win. They were wrong, because deep in the mountains, a human hand pressed against the alien drone, and for the first time, Earth's answer was whispered into the dark. We will not bow. The first week after the alien message was filled with silence. The ships hovered in orbit, watching, waiting. People around the world held their breath, as if the wrong move might bring fire from the sky. Then, without warning, the silence broke. In the middle of New York City, a shadow appeared above the skyline. People thought it was a cloud, but the shape did not move. It was sharp, mechanical. A drone. It descended slowly, as if it wanted to be seen. The streets filled with screams. Cars crashed into each other as people tried to escape. Helicopters circled, recording the event live. The drone hovered over Times Square. For a long moment, it did nothing. Then a beam of pure white light shot downward. Steel melted instantly. Buildings groaned as their sides collapsed. A bus was cut in half, burning metal raining on the road. The beam didn't explode. It sliced, perfect and precise, like a knife through paper. Crowds ran, but there was no target. The drone wasn't aiming at weapons or bases. It was destroying at random, just to spread terror. And it worked. Across the world, the images were broadcast live. In London, Tokyo, Cairo, Sydney, people froze as they watched New York burn. Panic swept the globe. It wasn't war. It was a message. Resistance would be punished. Hours later, the same happened in Shanghai, then in Lagos, then in Sao Paulo. Drones appeared, cut down bridges, ships, power plants, and disappeared before anyone could strike back. But even in fear, humanity began to change. In hidden bunkers, military leaders studied the attacks. They noticed something important. The drones were fast, but not untouchable. Every time they fired, their shields flickered. Every time they descended, their movement slowed. Patterns, said General Hassan of Egypt, pointing at the radar reports. They follow patterns. They think we are too afraid to notice. And someone else noticed something too. In the ruins of New York, firefighters and engineers risked their lives to pull survivors from collapsed buildings. One group found strange fragments buried in the rubble. Pieces of the alien beam had fused with steel, leaving behind glowing shards. The shards were collected and rushed to the same mountain lab where the captured drone was being studied. Dr. Laura Vance examined them closely. Her voice trembled as she spoke. This isn't infinite power. It's focused energy, controlled like a tool, and tools can break. The first idea of resistance was born. Meanwhile, soldiers and engineers worked with desperation. They had no alien weapons, no starships, but they had human creativity. In basements, hangars, and underground bases, traps were built. Old satellites were reproposed with mirrors to blind drones. Skyscrapers were rigged with hidden launchers. Bridges carried disguised explosives. Humans knew they couldn't outgun the invaders, but they could outthink them. The chance to test came faster than expected. In Berlin, another drone descended. It targeted a power station. But this time, the city was ready. Soldiers waited with anti-air missiles hidden under decoy trucks. Civilians had already evacuated, leaving empty streets. The drone began its beam attack, but mirrors hidden on rooftops redirected the light back into its own armor. Its shield flickered violently. In that moment of weakness, the missiles launched. For the first time, an alien drone fell from the sky. The explosion shook the city. People watching live gasped. For a heartbeat, they could not believe it. Then cheers erupted. In homes, in shelters, in bunkers, across the world, humanity saw hope. The aliens responded quickly. More drones appeared, attacking harder, faster, with no mercy. But something had changed. Humanity no longer only feared. Humanity fought back. One soldier in Berlin said to the cameras, his face covered in dust, "They bleed. That means we can kill them." And soon, there was another victory. In the mountains of Chile, engineers working with a crash drone finally opened its core. What they saw stunned them. It wasn't perfect alien magic. It was delicate, almost fragile. The design looked advanced, yes, but it also showed laziness. The aliens relied on intimidation, not on making their machines indestructible. One engineer whispered, "They've ruled so long without challenge, they forgot how to fight." The discovery spread quietly among the world's leaders. For the first time, humanity understood the truth. The aliens were strong, but not unbeatable. They underestimated Earth. Plans began forming. Weapons began taking shape. Nations stopped arguing about surrender and started working together. Humanity's greatest resource was not numbers, not strength, but ingenuity. And soon, that ingenuity created its first hybrid weapon, built from alien shards, human steel, and desperate creativity. The test would come soon. The question was simple. Could it kill? The answer would change everything. Beneath a mountain in Chile, the alien drone lay broken on a steel table. Its black armor was scorched, its glowing veins cracked. For days, scientists circled like hunters around a dangerous beast. No one dared to touch its core, until now. Dr. Ilara Vance stood at the center of the lab, her hands trembling but steady. Around her, soldiers waited with weapons raised. If the machine woke, they would fire. The air was thick with fear. "Begin!" she whispered. The engineers moved in, carefully cutting through the last layer of alien plating. Sparks lit the dark chamber. For a moment, the drone hummed, a low, menacing sound that made everyone flinch. But then it fell silent. The final panel came loose. Inside, the truth was revealed. Gasps filled the room. The core was not a glowing miracle of alien energy. It was thin, fragile, wires stretched like spiderwebs. Tiny crystals flickered with power, but the structure looked delicate, almost sloppy. One soldier muttered, "This is what we feared? This?" Dr. Vance leaned closer. Her voice was calm, but her eyes burned with excitement. "They are advanced, yes, but not perfect. They rely on intimidation. They built for fear, not for strength. That is their weakness." The news spread quickly through secret channels. Nations that had once argued now realized a new truth. The aliens could bleed, and their machines could break. But there was more. Within the drone, the scientists found a strange device, a communication relay. When activated, it sent out constant signals, like a beacon calling home. But the code was messy. It repeated, looping the same commands over and over. Dr. Vance studied the pattern for hours. Then she laughed, the sound echoing in the code lab. "They aren't watching us live. Their messages are automated. They want us to believe they are everywhere, but their control is limited. Their power is not infinite." It was a revelation that shook every leader on Earth. The aliens were powerful, but lazy. They ruled with fear, not with constant strength. That gave humanity time. That gave humanity a chance. Outside, the world was still burning. More drones appeared in cities, cutting bridges, leveling ships, melting tanks. Millions fled their homes. But now, whispers spread among the survivors. People had seen the Berlin victory. They knew the drones could fall. Hope was a dangerous weapon. In secret workshops, engineers worked day and night. Pieces of the broken drone were melted and reforged with human steel. Wires from the alien core were spliced into missiles. The first human-alien hybrid weapon was born, not beautiful, not elegant, but deadly. It was tested in silence. Far out in the Pacific Ocean, a single alien warship hovered low, monitoring Earth's waters. It was massive, larger than any human vessel, its hull glowing with faint blue lines. It had destroyed dozens of ships before. Now it waited like a predator. From a hidden submarine, the weapon was launched. It looked simple, almost primitive, a missile tipped with alien shards, powered by human ingenuity. The missile cut through the waves, then into the air. The alien warship detected it instantly. Shields activated, glowing like glass. But when the shards hit, something unexpected happened. The shields flickered, overloaded by the aliens' own stolen energy. And then, silence. For 3 long seconds, nothing happened. Soldiers in the submarine held their breath. Scientists in bunkers stared at their screens. Around the world, satellites focused on the warship. Then, the impossible happened. The alien warship exploded. The blast lit the night sky above the Pacific like a second sun. The sea rose in a towering wave. Fire and smoke filled the horizon. For the first time in human history, an alien capital ship fell, not to a rival empire, not to advanced technology, but to human cleverness. The victory was broadcast everywhere. Even though officials tried to hide it, videos leaked online within minutes. Billions watched in disbelief as a massive warship crumbled into the sea. Cheers erupted in shelters, homes, and bases. Humanity felt something it hadn't felt since the arrival began: triumph. But triumph was fragile. In orbit, the alien fleet stirred. Their silence ended. Their signals shifted, no longer calm or repeating. This time, the words were sharp, full of fury. You were meant to bow. Now you will burn. Cities shook as more ships descended. The aliens had tested the Earth's fear, and now they had been answered with defiance. For the first time, true war was coming. But humanity was ready. The world had seen inside the alien machines. The world had broken their shield. And the world had proven one truth the galaxy would never forget: humans could fight back. The Pacific Ocean still boiled from the wreck of the alien warship. Smoke rose high into the sky, drifting for miles. Ships from nearby nations moved carefully into the area, cameras recording every angle. The impossible had happened. An alien vessel, mighty and terrible, had been destroyed by human hands. Across the world, people shouted, cried, and celebrated. In shelters and ruined cities, survivors held each other. They had seen hope with their own eyes. The aliens were not gods. They could fall, but the aliens did not retreat. From orbit, the fleet moved. Dozens of ships broke formation and descended. Their shadows stretched across continents. Cities shook as their massive engines roared above. In Washington, in Moscow, in Beijing, in Cairo, leaders gathered with trembling voices. Could Earth withstand what was coming? General Hassan spoke firmly. They are furious, but fury makes enemies careless. This is our chance. And so began humanity's first organized counterattack. The plan was simple but desperate. Humans could not match alien power ship for ship, but they could strike where it hurt, using speed, cunning, and unpredictability. In the deserts of Nevada, engineers modified old satellites. They turned them into mirrors, able to reflect and scatter alien beams. In the forests of Poland, soldiers built traps, hiding missiles under roads and rivers. In the skies above Japan, pilots prepared swarms of drones, each armed with explosives, ready to dive like swarms of hornets. Every nation added something. Every group found a way. Humanity's weapon was not brute strength. It was creativity. The first test came over the Mediterranean Sea. An alien cruiser descended, scanning the waters for hidden fleets. Its beams cut into waves, boiling fish, scarring the sea. But hidden beneath the surface were submarines, silent and waiting. The submarines launched dozens of torpedoes, not at the ship itself, but at the rocky cliffs nearby. The explosion sent entire walls of stone crashing down. The waves surged upward, slamming against the alien cruiser. Its balance faltered. In that moment, a single hybrid missile, human steel tipped with alien shards, struck its hull. The cruiser exploded, its wreckage raining into the sea. Cheers echoed in bunkers and command rooms. Humanity had learned to turn nature itself into a weapon. But the greatest strike came days later. Above the ruins of New York, a massive alien warship hovered. Its beams carved through empty buildings, reducing the city to ash. Survivors fled through tunnels below, guided by soldiers. Then, suddenly, the skyscrapers around the ship lit up. Hidden charges, wired for weeks, detonated at once. Entire towers collapsed onto the warship, burying it in steel and concrete. As the ship struggled to rise, swarms of human drones attacked from every angle, each carrying explosives. One by one they crashed into its weak points, tearing the hull apart. Billions watched live as the warship fell into the Hudson River. The explosion shook the Earth. For the second time, humanity had killed a giant. The aliens grew restless. For years, centuries, perhaps, they had ruled by fear. No species had ever defied them. And now, a small world of fragile creatures had destroyed 2 of their capital ships. Their voice returned, this time angrier, sharper. You were warned. Now you will suffer. Entire fleets turned their weapons toward Earth. Cities went dark as alien beams struck power stations. Satellites were torn from the sky. The world braced for fire. But humanity had tasted victory, and they refused to bow. In secret bases, scientists continued to work. Every piece of alien wreckage was studied, every weakness noted. Dr. Elara Van stood before the growing collection of alien debris. Her eyes were tired, but her voice was steady. They think we are weak because we do not match their size, she said. But they are wrong. Size is not strength. Ingenuity is strength. And that we have an endless supply. Around her, engineers nodded. The hybrid weapons were growing stronger. Each day, Earth became more dangerous to its invaders. Yet the aliens were not finished. High above, their fleet shifted again. This time, something large appeared on the horizon of space. A ship bigger than anything seen before. Its shadow covered oceans, its size rivaled continents. The message came once more, cold and final. Your tricks end now. You will burn beneath our true power. Humanity's small victories had awakened the giant. Now, the true test was about to begin. The world had seen victories, but they were small victories. 2 alien warships destroyed, 1 cruiser sunk. Humanity felt pride, but also fear. For in the blackness of space, something far worse was coming. The mothership. It was so large that its shadow touched half the Earth as it descended. Cities went dark as the sun disappeared behind its massive hull. People stared at the sky and fell silent, hearts frozen in their chests. This was no drone, no cruiser. This was a fortress that had ruled entire star systems. And with it came a new kind of war. The attacks began quietly. Lights in New Delhi flickered, then died. Whole neighborhoods fell into darkness. In Paris, trains stopped mid-track. In Chicago, planes stalled in the air, falling like stones. Power grid collapsed across the globe, one after another. It was sabotage, not from space, but from within. The aliens had unleashed infiltrators, machines that looked like humans, but weren't. They moved in shadows, cutting wires, spreading false orders, jamming signals. Earth's armies weren't just fighting in the skies anymore. They were fighting in their own streets. It was the war of shadows. In London, a soldier named Marcus Hale patrolled the ruins of the city. Fires burned in the distance. His squad had orders to find a power station that had gone offline. But when they arrived, they found no bombs, no beams. Instead, they found workers, men and women who claimed to be engineers. Their faces looked human. Their voices sounded human. But when Marcus looked closer, their eyes glowed faintly blue. He raised his rifle. They're not real. The imposters moved faster than any human could. Bullets ripped through their bodies, sparks flying where blood should have been. One by one, the infiltrators fell. But not before the power station exploded, plunging London into blackness. Stories like this spread everywhere. In Tokyo, infiltrators hacked into the subway system, trapping thousands underground. In Mexico City, they poisoned water supplies. In Cairo, they set fire to military stockpiles. The aliens were no longer only burning Earth from above. They were trying to break humanity from the inside. But humanity adapted. Engineers created detectors that could sense the faint hum of alien energy inside the infiltrators. Soldiers learned to set traps, simple, clever tricks that machines could not outthink. False signals were broadcast to lure the infiltrators into empty bases, where explosives waited. Slowly, painfully, humanity began turning the shadows back against the enemy. Meanwhile, scientists continued their work. Dr. Elara Vance and her team built hidden defenses in orbit, disguising them as dead satellites. They armed them with stolen shards, creating a secret net around Earth. If the mothership tried to descend further, it would face a sky filled with traps. But the mothership itself was terrifying. Its hull glowed with rivers of blue light. Its engines roared like thunder. From its belly, thousands of smaller ships poured out, darkening the skies. Cities that had survived so far now faced swarms of alien craft. In Sao Paulo, people fought in the streets with rifles, Molotovs, and hack drones. In Moscow, tanks fired until their barrels melted. In Sydney, entire neighborhoods set traps, blowing bridges to slow the alien advance. The world was burning, but it was not bowing. One night, as a mothership hung over Africa, a group of human engineers launched a desperate strike. They hacked into an old-weather satellite, turning its sensors into a weapon. With perfect timing, they used its signal to blind a swarm of alien ships. The blinded swarm crashed into one another, fire raining across the desert. For the first time, humans had turned the enemy's own numbers into chaos. Brains against power, Dr. Van said when she heard the news. That is how we survive. But the mothership was not idle. It began targeting the very ground humanity stood on. Giant beams tore into the earth, shaking entire regions. Volcanoes erupted where the beams struck. Tsunamis rose from the oceans. The message was clear. If Earth resisted, the planet itself would suffer. Leaders met again, their faces pale with exhaustion. Some argued to surrender. Others shouted in anger. But one truth could not be denied. If they gave in now, humanity would not survive as a free people. General Hassan slammed his fist down. They want us broken. But we are not broken. We are fighting in the light, and we are fighting in the dark. Let them come. The war of shadows raged on. In the silence of space, hidden satellites waited. In the streets of ruined cities, humans fought not just with weapons, but with cunning. In bunkers beneath mountains, scientists turned fear into invention. The mothership thought it had brought humanity to its knees. But in the darkness, the old truth burned brighter than ever. Humans did not give up. Humans adapted. Humans endured. And soon, humanity would strike not just from the shadows, but at the heart of the giant itself.